This hour for you on Daybreak, we've been hearing it for months, the importance of getting a flu shot. We'll tell you how people in Springfield are making that happen today. And some renters in the Ozarks could be in danger of being evicted, why experts are concerned about a possible wave of evictions on the way. Also, why doctors say to still be cautious even if you have gotten past COVID-19. We'll have all of that coming up this hour for you on Daybreak. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome on in to this Thursday. It's December 10th. I'm Joe Morano, and Jennifer has the morning off. We are going to get you through with all the news you need to get you set for this Thursday morning. And TJ Springer is everyone's friend today because they're really enjoying the weather that is on tap for us, right?
It's going to be great this afternoon, Joe. Did you get out and do anything outdoors yesterday?
I went outside yesterday, and I feel like I'm going to have to do the same thing today. Even if it's just taking a walk around your neighborhood, everyone, you have to do it. Coming with the warning that don't do it right now.
Yeah.
It's still cold to start, but it's going to get so pleasant later, right?
It really is. Yeah, it was nice yesterday. I'm mad I didn't get out enough. I walked Gizmo a couple of times, obviously, but I should have spent some more time outdoors. But for sure, try and do that if you can today. Yesterday, we actually did break and tie some records. Springfield, one of those spots. That record was set back in the 40s, 1940. We hit that 71-degree mark yesterday. Rolla breaking a record that was set back in the early 90s. West Plains as well, breaking that. The high was 79. The previous record was 69 degrees. Really not a bad day, and we're going to continue on with that trend for our Friday Eve. In Springfield, we're starting off quiet. It is still a little bit cool out there. You want that jacket, but you'll be able to shed that by later on this afternoon. 30s to 40s. We have 41 in Branson, 38 in Springfield, 40 in Rolla, a little bit colder. Now into the upper 20s in Fayetteville. We may be able to shave a couple of degrees there in Springfield through the rest of our early morning time frame. Winds are a little bit variable, but mainly from the south, around 5 miles per hour or less. They will increase just a little bit. That will help our temperatures rise. Still seeing mainly clear sky, just a couple of clouds out there. We'll see more later on as our next storm system approaches. Still going to see loads of sunshine through the day. I think we'll be into the lower 70s by 3 o'clock. Great to do a little bit of grilling outdoors if you can, and I think we'll smash some more records, tie or at least smash some, break some nonetheless. We'll talk more about that and what comes this weekend in just a little bit. Joe?
Medical professionals are saying a flu shot is more important now than ever before this year. Color 10's Nigel McDonald is live to tell us how some people in town are helping others get vaccinated for the flu today. Nigel, what's going on?
Yeah, Joe, well, good morning. The free flu shot clinic will take place here at the O'Reilly Center for Hope. Now, it begins at 9 o'clock this morning and will run until 1 this afternoon. Now, the clinic is for people who are homeless or facing housing insecurity. I met with a local provider from Jordan Valley Community Health Center who shared why events like this are important.
Flu vaccination is important for everyone, but for those who maybe don't have housing or are homeless, and kind of transient, they're around a lot of other people who may have exposure to the flu or other infections, or even COVID, etc., and maybe not have access to care, and that'll put them at risk of getting those infections.
Well, Reyes says that there is no sign up. All you need to do is come wearing your mask. There will be donuts and coffee for those who participate. Reporting live in Springfield, Nigel McDonald, Ozarks First.
Thank you very much, Nija. Many people may be facing evictions in the new year if a temporary halt on COVID-19 related evictions is lifted. In September, you'll recall the CDC issued a moratorium on them through the end of 2020 if a tenant is late on payment because of COVID issues, whether that be a job loss or pay cuts or medical expenses or anything else of the sort. But that moratorium will expire in 3 weeks, which could send a wave of evictions throughout the country. Community Partnership of the Ozarks believes anyone could find themselves in this situation.
Affordable housing and evictions have been a concern in our community for a while, but more specifically in the last 9 months. I mean, it's important because this could happen to all of us. Most of us are just a few things happening away from being homeless or not being able to afford our rent.
You know, just because there's a moratorium doesn't mean rent isn't accruing against them. I think at some level, it's going to appear that the only possible relief that's going to avoid big problems is going to have to come from some action at the federal level.
Dan Witchmer has already seen tenants seeking legal help from others in the area as some evictions are getting filed already for next month. Gatherings have been a topic of concern for local health leaders this week. Yesterday, 700 people bought tickets to a luncheon held at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds E-Plex to induct new members into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Gerald Andrews with the Hall says about 550 people attended this event, and all but 2 showed up without a mask, but they were given one to wear. He says moving events like these to the E-Plex actually gives them the ability to stay under 50% capacity while also keeping tables 10 feet apart. Gerald Andrews also tells us that these are people who interact with each other outside of these sorts of events.
I mean, today we honored a program from Glasgow, Missouri. Well, that's 3 hours from here. And there was a lot of carpooling that took place. So they knew who they were coming with. And once again, in many cases, they were families.
We'll tell you about the inductees later on in sports. The Springfield-Greene County Health Department says even if proper precautions are taken, they're still recommending against large gatherings. New for you this morning over in Harrison, Arkansas, the Boone County Sheriff's Department is looking for a missing 81-year-old man. Akira Asami was last seen in Harrison at about 3 o'clock yesterday wearing a brown baseball cap, dark-colored shirt and jacket, blue jeans, and gray tennis shoes. He has short black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information with this, you should call authorities. One person was injured during a motorcycle accident in Hickory County. 68-year-old Helen Childress of Humansville, Missouri, was driving west on US 54 when her bike ran off the road and struck a fence. Childress was ejected and airlifted to the hospital in serious condition. When it comes to a coronavirus vaccine, Pfizer and Moderna are expected to be approved in the U.S. soon. St. Louis University, though, is currently enrolling for a new vaccine trial. It's for phase 3 trials of Janssen's, and it wants people over the age of 60 and in minority populations. It's a 2-year commitment as participants will take a single vaccine dose and be followed for 2 years to see if they get infected with COVID-19 since then. 50% of those involved will be given the vaccine, 50% the placebo.
People have to remember that even though the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, and hopefully the Moderna vaccine will be here soon, there's not going to be enough of that vaccine to go around at all.
Janssen and SLU believe it's important to have multiple vaccines on hand so there is enough for everyone to be able to get one when it becomes widely available. Medical professionals are also now saying people who survive a COVID-19 infection and develop antibodies are not completely in the clear. Doctors are warning against the invincible mentality until they know more about this virus. The CDC believes antibodies are protective for at least 90 days and likely much longer. Although reinfection is rare, doctors say it does happen and sometimes comes back even worse.
You know, some of the patients that have been reported to have reinfection, some of them were actually sicker with their second illness.
Doctors are encouraging people who have recovered from COVID-19 to still wear a mask and distance when out in public.
We are starting our day off on a somewhat mild note, above average for this time of the year, that's for sure. But look where we're going to go later on this afternoon, possibly breaking some more records, or at least tying them here throughout the Color 10 viewing area. We'll talk about that and when the cool down and possibly wintry weather arrive coming up next.
From Color 10 Ozarks First, Jennifer Abreu, Joe Morano, and weather with meteorologist TJ Springer. This is Color 10 News Daybreak.